In a vast galaxy filled with stars and planets, a dangerous race known as the Varkonians ruled with fear. They were fierce predators, larger than most beings, with sharp claws and fierce eyes that sparkled like gems. The Varkonians had conquered many worlds, wiping out entire species without a second thought. Their warships glided through space like shadows, leaving destruction in their wake. They believed they were unstoppable, the most powerful race in the galaxy. On the other side of the galaxy, there was a small human colony on a blue-green planet called Earth. This planet was full of life, with forests, oceans, and cities buzzing with activity. The humans had worked hard to build a peaceful society. They loved art, music, and sharing stories. However, they were not warriors. For years, they focused on technology and exploration rather than conflict. They had no idea of the terrible danger that was about to approach. One day, a Varkonian scout ship spotted Earth from afar. The commander of the ship, a tall and muscular Varkonian named Zarek, was impressed by the beauty of the blue planet. He turned to his crew, his voice deep and rumbling. "This world will be ours. We will conquer it like all the others. The humans will fall easily." His crew roared with approval, their eyes shining with greed. They were hungry for conquest, and Earth seemed like an easy target. Back on Earth, news of the approaching threat reached the leaders of the human colony. In a large meeting hall, humans gathered to discuss what they had heard. A wise elder named Maria stood up. Her voice was calm but filled with concern. "We cannot ignore this danger. The Varkonians are ruthless. They will not show mercy." The room fell silent as everyone listened carefully. They knew about the Varkonians' terrible reputation, but many believed they were too small and weak to be a threat. A young man named David, known for his clever ideas, raised his hand. "We may be smaller, but we are not powerless. We have technology that can help us defend ourselves. We can create traps and weapons to surprise them." Some people nodded, inspired by his words. Others looked doubtful. They thought the Varkonians were too powerful to challenge. As fear spread among the people, the leaders decided to take action. They called for an emergency meeting, gathering the best minds in the colony. Scientists and engineers worked day and night, using every resource they had to prepare for the impending attack. They designed advanced machines and weapons, hoping to turn their peaceful inventions into tools for defense. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council, which included various alien species, sat in their grand meeting chamber. They discussed the Varkonian threat and laughed at the thought of humans fighting back. An alien with green skin and many eyes named Xylox scoffed. "Humans? They are just fragile creatures. They cannot challenge the Varkonians. They are bound to fail." The council members nodded in agreement, feeling confident that the Varkonians would easily conquer Earth. However, the Varkonians were preparing for their attack as well. They sent more ships, gathering their forces to strike Earth with full power. Zarek, now commanding a fleet of warships, smiled as he looked at the stars. "Prepare to invade. We will teach these humans what it means to face true power," he ordered, his voice booming across the ship. His crew was eager, ready to show the galaxy the might of their race. As the days passed, the humans continued their preparations. David and Maria worked together, rallying the colony's inhabitants to stand strong. "We may be small, but we have heart and determination," David said to the crowd. "We will fight for our home and our future." Little did they know, the clash between the Varkonians and humans was about to begin. The galaxy was on the brink of a great battle, one that would change everything. The predators thought they were invincible, but the humans were ready to show them that courage and cleverness could stand against even the fiercest foes. The stage was set, and the future of Earth hung in the balance. Would the humans be able to defend their home against the powerful Varkonians, or would they fall like so many others before them? Only time would tell. As the news of the Varkonian threat spread across the human colony on Earth, a sense of urgency filled the air. The people felt fear but also determination. They realized they had to act fast if they wanted to protect their home. Meetings were held in every corner of the colony, from bustling city squares to quiet farms. The humans knew that their survival depended on their unity and courage. In the central meeting hall, Maria and David stood before a large group of people. The hall was packed, with faces filled with concern and hope. Maria raised her hand to quiet the crowd. "We must prepare ourselves for the fight ahead. We cannot let fear control us. We need to use our skills and resources to defend our planet." David nodded, standing beside her, ready to share their plan. "First, we must gather all our scientists and engineers," David said, his voice strong and clear. "We have advanced technology that can help us. We can create defenses and weapons that the Varkonians will not expect." The crowd murmured with agreement, and a spark of hope ignited within them. They began to see that they had the potential to fight back. The leaders split up to organize various teams. Some were tasked with designing and building new machines, while others worked on creating traps to catch the Varkonian invaders. The scientists went to their labs while the engineers headed to the factories. Each person had a role to play, and everyone worked hard day and night. David and Maria decided to focus on the older technology that had been long forgotten. They believed that by combining old ideas with new technology, they could create something unique. They gathered a team of skilled workers and began to brainstorm. "What if we build something like a shield that can block their weapons?" Maria suggested. David smiled, excited by the idea. "Yes! And we can use drones to gather information about their ships." The group buzzed with energy as they discussed their plans. Meanwhile, the factories were alive with activity. Workers hammered, welded, and constructed machines that would defend their planet. They built small robotic drones that could fly and spy on the Varkonian ships. These drones were equipped with cameras and sensors to gather valuable information. They also started constructing larger defensive structures that could withstand the Varkonian attacks. As the humans worked tirelessly, the Varkonians continued to prepare for their invasion. Zarek, the Varkonian commander, was confident of his success. He gathered his crew and shared his strategy. "We will strike fast and hard. They will not see us coming," he declared, his voice booming with authority. His crew cheered, filled with excitement and bloodlust. They were ready to crush the humans, believing the battle would be an easy victory. Back on Earth, Maria and David's team made significant progress. They created a prototype of their defense system, testing it in the open fields. The machine worked perfectly, creating a strong shield that could block energy blasts. The team celebrated their success, but they knew there was still much work to do. They had to be ready before the Varkonians arrived. As the days passed, the urgency grew. The humans began to train together, learning how to use their new weapons and machines. They practiced drills, becoming more united and strong with each session. Young and old, they all worked together, sharing skills and knowledge. They knew that their bond would be their greatest strength in the coming battle. David looked at his friends and family during one of the training sessions. "We may be outnumbered, but we have something they don't have, our spirit and will to fight for our home." The crowd cheered, filled with a sense of purpose. They were ready to stand together against the Varkonians, determined to defend their planet. As the final preparations continued, a sense of hope and pride blossomed among the humans. They understood that this was their moment to shine, to show the galaxy what humanity was capable of. They were no longer just a small, peaceful colony. They were a united force ready to face the predators. With every passing moment, the humans grew stronger and more prepared. The Varkonians might have thought they were unstoppable, but humanity was ready to prove them wrong. The stage was set for a clash that would echo throughout the galaxy, and the humans were prepared to fight with everything they had. The day had finally arrived. The sun rose over Earth, casting a warm glow on the colony. But beneath the surface, tension filled the air as everyone prepared for the inevitable clash with the Varkonians. The humans had worked hard, creating weapons and machines, but now they faced their greatest challenge. Would their efforts be enough to protect their home? David stood atop a hill overlooking the training grounds. He saw groups of men and women practicing with the weapons they had built. They were determined and ready, but the fear of the unknown lingered. "Today is our chance to show the galaxy who we are," he whispered to himself, trying to muster courage for what lay ahead. Meanwhile, in the cold darkness of space, the Varkonian fleet approached Earth. Zarek stood at the helm of his massive warship, his eyes glinting with excitement. "Prepare for attack! We will show these humans our power!" he roared, his voice echoing throughout the ship. The crew responded with wild cheers, fueled by their belief in their invincibility. They were eager to crush the so-called defenders of Earth. As the Varkonian ships entered the atmosphere, their presence darkened the skies. The humans could see the enormous warships descending, their shapes casting long shadows over the land. Panic spread through the colony, but David quickly rallied his people. "Stay calm! We have prepared for this moment. Remember your training and trust in our plan." His voice carried over the crowd, instilling a sense of determination in their hearts. The first Varkonian ship opened fire, sending energy blasts toward the surface. The humans had built shields, but they were still untested. As the blasts hit the ground, the shock waves shook the earth and clouds of dust filled the air. But the shields held. The humans cheered, their spirits lifted. "We can do this!" they shouted, feeling the rush of hope. David shouted orders to his team. "Activate the drones! Let's gather information about their ships!" The small flying machines whirred to life, darting into the sky to gather intelligence. The humans watched as the drones transmitted images of the Varkonian fleet, revealing their weaknesses. The humans quickly devised a strategy based on the information they received. As the Varkonians began their assault, the humans sprang into action. They activated their defense systems, launching counterattacks. David and Maria coordinated their forces, directing everyone with precision. The humans fought back, using their new weapons to fire at the enemy ships. It was chaotic, with blasts of energy illuminating the sky. The Varkonians were taken aback by the humans' fierce resistance. Zarek, furious, bellowed, "These creatures are fighting back harder than we expected, but they will not defeat us!" He ordered his crew to intensify their attack, but the humans were ready. They had prepared traps and barriers, cleverly designed to outsmart the predators. In the heat of battle, a group of Varkonian soldiers landed on the ground. They charged toward the humans, their claws glinting menacingly. But the humans stood their ground, fear turning into courage. Maria led a group of defenders, wielding the weapons they had crafted. "Stand strong! We will not let them take our home!" she shouted. As the two sides clashed, the humans fought with heart and determination. They used every trick they had learned during their training, surprising the Varkonians with their clever tactics. For every Varkonian that fell, the humans felt a surge of hope. They were not the weak beings the predators had thought they were. As the battle raged on, David noticed a Varkonian ship becoming disabled. "Let's hit that ship! It's our chance!" he yelled to his team. They focused their fire on the vulnerable vessel, sending it crashing to the ground. The explosion sent shock waves through the battlefield, and cheers erupted from the human ranks. They could see their victory was possible. However, the Varkonians were relentless. Zarek felt the tide of battle shifting and knew he had to act. "Regroup and attack with full force. We will show them who rules this galaxy." His voice boomed, rallying his troops. As the battle continued, it became clear that the first clash would not decide the fate of Earth. But the humans had proven one crucial thing. They were not to be underestimated. They had shown bravery and skill, fighting with everything they had. They were ready to defend their home, no matter the cost. With each passing moment, the battle intensified, and the galaxy watched in awe as the two forces clashed. Humanity had taken a stand, and the outcome was still uncertain. But one thing was clear: the Varkonians had underestimated their foes, and the fight for Earth had only just begun. In the aftermath of the first clash, the humans of Earth stood tall. They had faced the Varkonian threat and lived to tell the tale. But the battle was far from over, and they knew they needed allies to strengthen their fight. News of their bravery spread across the galaxy, reaching other worlds and civilizations. Many began to wonder if they should join forces with the humans to combat the ruthless Varkonians. Back in the central meeting hall, David and Maria gathered a team of leaders from various human colonies. They had experienced firsthand the chaos of the battle and knew they had to come together to prepare for what was next. As the group convened, a sense of urgency filled the room. "We need to reach out to other planets," David said firmly. "If we can unite, we can create a stronger front against the Varkonians." Maria nodded in agreement. "We must send messages to our neighboring colonies. They need to know that Earth is under threat. If they join us, we can fight back together." The leaders began to discuss strategies to communicate with other worlds. They knew time was of the essence. The Varkonians would not rest long. As the humans worked diligently, a response came from a nearby planet known as Althar. The Altharians were known for their advanced technology and fierce warriors. Their leader, Queen Elira, sent a message expressing her admiration for the humans' bravery. "We have watched your struggle against the Varkonians," she wrote. "Althar stands ready to join your fight. Together we shall face this threat." When the humans received the message, a wave of relief washed over them. They realized they were not alone in this battle. "We must prepare for their arrival," David declared. The team immediately set to work. arranging accommodations and strategizing how best to integrate their new allies. The day Althar's ships arrived was filled with excitement and nervous energy. The skies shimmered as sleek silver vessels descended, landing gracefully near the human colony. The Altharians emerged, tall and elegant beings with shimmering skin and sharp features. Queen Elira stepped forward, her presence commanding respect. "We come to stand with you," she proclaimed, her voice strong and clear. The humans greeted their allies with open arms, filled with hope and gratitude. As the two groups met, David and Queen Elira shared their battle experiences. "We have much to learn from each other," David said, eager to hear about Althar's technology. Elira nodded, a glint of determination in her eyes. "Our forces are skilled in aerial combat. We can share our knowledge of advanced weaponry and strategy. Together we will create a powerful alliance." While the leaders discussed tactics, the rest of the humans and Altharians began training together. The Altharians demonstrated their impressive flight techniques, showing the humans how to maneuver in the skies. The humans, in turn, shared their unique fighting styles and the innovative machines they had developed. It was a blend of cultures, each learning from the other, growing stronger with each passing day. As they trained, the humans learned that the Altharians had their own stories of fighting against oppression. They had faced their own battles and understood the importance of unity. The bond between the two groups grew, filled with respect and admiration. They were not just allies, they were friends united by a common goal. In the evenings, they gathered around campfires, sharing stories of their worlds. Laughter and camaraderie filled the air, lifting the spirits of everyone involved. It was a reminder that they were not alone in this fight. Together, they could accomplish the impossible. As the days turned into weeks, more messages came from other planets. News of the humans' bravery and the alliance with Althar spread across the galaxy. Soon, other civilizations began to reach out, eager to join the fight against the Varkonians. The coalition grew stronger as more allies came forth, each bringing their unique strengths and abilities to the table. Among the new allies was the Xandrian Empire, known for their mastery of ground combat. Their commander, General Thrax, pledged his forces to the cause. "We will fight alongside you," he vowed, his voice booming with determination. The humans welcomed the Xandrians with open arms, thrilled to have more skilled warriors on their side. With each new ally, the humans felt more confident. They were no longer just a small colony fighting for survival. They were part of a larger movement, a united front against the Varkonian threat. As they trained and prepared together, a fire ignited in their hearts. They knew they would face challenges ahead, but they were ready to stand together, shoulder to shoulder, against the unstoppable predators of the galaxy. With newfound strength and determination, the coalition began to strategize their next move. They would not just defend their home, they would take the fight to the Varkonians. The galaxy was watching, and the humans were ready to show everyone that they were a force to be reckoned with. The stage was set for a climactic battle, and the allies were united, prepared to fight for their future. The time had finally come for the coalition to face the Varkonians. After weeks of training and preparation, the united forces of humans, Altharians, and Xandrians were ready for battle. They gathered in a vast meeting area, their spirits high and their hearts filled with determination. David stood at the forefront, looking out over the assembled troops. Each warrior represented a planet, a people, and a hope for the future. "Today we fight not just for Earth, but for every world the Varkonians have threatened," David declared, his voice strong and steady. Cheers erupted from the crowd, each warrior inspired by the words of their leader. The Altharians stood tall, their shimmering skin reflecting the morning sun, while the Xandrians flexed their muscles, eager for the fight ahead. They had become more than allies, they had become family. As the coalition prepared to embark on their mission, the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. Each soldier went through their final checks, ensuring their weapons were ready and their spirits were high. The humans had learned so much from their allies, especially in aerial and ground combat. They felt a bond of trust, knowing that they would fight alongside each other no matter the odds. The coalition's fleet took off, soaring through the sky and into the depths of space. David gazed out the window of his ship, watching as the stars twinkled around them. He could feel the weight of the mission ahead, but he also felt hope. They were united, and together they were strong. As they approached the Varkonian fleet, a sense of dread washed over them. The sight of the massive warships looming in the distance was intimidating. Zarek, the Varkonian leader, was prepared for battle. His ships were arranged in a formidable formation, ready to strike at the first sign of attack. But the coalition was not afraid. They had come too far to turn back now. "Let's show them what we've got!" Maria shouted, her eyes blazing with determination. The troops cheered again, a loud roar of unity that echoed through the fleet. The coalition was ready, and they would not back down. As the two fleets faced off, the battle began. Varkonian ships opened fire, their energy blasts lighting up the dark expanse of space. The coalition responded quickly, dodging the incoming fire and launching their own attacks. David and his team coordinated their forces, ensuring everyone knew their role. The humans maneuvered with newfound skill, utilizing the techniques learned from their allies. The battle was fierce. Explosions erupted all around them, and the sound of energy blasts filled the air. Ships from both sides engaged in dogfights, twisting and turning in a deadly dance. David felt his heart race as he fought alongside his comrades. They were not just fighting for their survival, they were fighting for freedom and hope. In the midst of the chaos, the Altharians showcased their flying abilities, diving into the heart of the Varkonian fleet. Their precision strikes took down several ships, and the humans watched in awe. The Xandrians on the ground launched an assault, their strong warriors overwhelming the enemy troops. They fought fiercely, using their strength to protect their allies and push forward. As the battle continued, Zarek realized that his forces were not winning as easily as he had anticipated. The humans and their allies were fierce and unyielding. "We must regroup," he commanded, his voice laced with frustration. But it was too late. The coalition was relentless, and they pressed on, gaining ground. David felt a surge of confidence. "Keep pushing! We can win this!" he shouted, rallying his troops. They charged forward with renewed strength, their determination growing with each victory. The tide of battle had turned, and the Varkonians were starting to falter. After hours of fierce fighting, the coalition finally reached Zarek's flagship. David and his team boarded the ship, ready to confront the Varkonian leader. They fought their way through the corridors, adrenaline coursing through their veins. When they finally faced Zarek, the tension in the room was palpable. "You think you can defeat me?" Zarek sneered, his confidence wavering. "You are nothing but weaklings." But David stood tall, a fire burning in his eyes. "We are not weak. We are united, and together we will take back our home." The final showdown was intense, each side battling with everything they had. But the coalition, fueled by the strength of their alliance and the hope for a brighter future, ultimately triumphed. They defeated Zarek, and the remaining Varkonian ships began to retreat. As the dust settled, the coalition stood together, victorious. They had faced a great threat and emerged stronger than ever. The galaxy had witnessed their courage, and the news spread far and wide. Earth was no longer just a lonely planet, it was a symbol of unity and hope. With the Varkonian threat eliminated, David, Maria, and their allies gathered to celebrate their victory. They knew that this was only the beginning. They had formed lasting bonds and alliances that would continue to grow in the years to come. Together, they would face any challenge that lay ahead. As they looked up at the stars, they realized that they had not only defended their home, they had created a new beginning, a new era of cooperation and strength among worlds. The future was bright, and they were ready to embrace it, united as one.